Greetings and welcome to you. So, today we're going to do a pick a card, pick a pile reading. You have no idea what a process it has been to be able to finally begin your reading. I attempted to start at 7:30 a.m. and I had technical difficulties that I'm not even going to go into. Okay, so let's talk about the piles. I am so nervous for some reason. I'm nervous for you. I'm nervous about what all the piles are going to say about everybody. Anyway, let's take a look. Okay, so we have this is the first pile. This is Fougere, Fougere, Fougere. How do you make this incense? You make it with lavender, citrus, oak moss. Oak moss. Those are usually the main ingredients for this pile. We have this as pile 1, this is pile 2. Pile 2 is frankincense. Frankincense is a tree resin. We have pile 3, myrrh. Myrrh. Pile 3 is also a tree resin. And we have pile 4. Pile 4 is Kasturi. Kasturi, the ingredients are rose petals and cow dung, as well as other wood. And believe it or not, this pile, this incense protects against atomic radiation. So it's very fascinating incense. However, all of these incenses are fascinating and sacred and holy and beautiful and such a blessing to have be part of our lives. So let's begin with pile 1. So I have pre-shuffled the little piles. Let's put this here to the side. I have pre-shuffled the little piles are all set. I'm really sorry about the background noise if you hear any, because sometimes you won't hear it. Where am I going to put these piles? Okay, let's put pile 2 over here and scooch all these over and see what your pile has to say. Okay, so should I have the camera up or down? I don't know. And it goes with this stone. I have so many stones that I forget some of their names. This one is not amethyst. It looks like amethyst, but it is not. You know, there's stones that I'm allergic to, and I'm actually allergic to amethyst. Amethyst makes me sick, and I looked into it and I found out that amethyst was used as birth control in ancient times, which is very interesting. But anyways, this is not amethyst. It looks very similar to it, but it's purple, and it's very soothing to your emotions. And here's the box that you chose. It's very important to purchase incense that does not have harmful chemicals. You always want to look at the ingredients and make sure that they don't have harmful chemicals. The Chinese, the Japanese purify the air and glorify their ancestors. Buddhists burn this daily in temples and rituals, smudging domestic offerings to God. Christians symbolize incense with prayer. The indigenous and Native American use smoke to deliver prayers to saints in heaven. So let's get started with your pile. Look at the light. Oh. So so let's start from the bottom up because this is how many cards we have for your pile. And look at the light right from the beginning. And this represents your first chakra. It's very important for you to be grounded. How do you ground? What is the simplest way to get grounded? You simply wake up, you get up off your bed, and you sit down for 10 minutes anywhere you like. The carpet floor, the living room floor, the bedroom floor, your office chair, on the sand, on the dirt, on some grass. You just sit there without your phone, perhaps with a cup of tea, and you just sit there for 10 minutes and you do nothing. You just sit. That's how you get grounded. There's no need to make anything complicated. Some of you might be 35 years old. And getting grounded in the beginning of the day will help you survive the day. Okay. I really want to get my book. Last time I got this card, I lost the book. And this one is a very high vibrational card that it talks about unconditional love in the spiritual world, but it also talks about something else I don't want to leave out that I left out last time, and I don't want to leave it out again. Profound spiritual love, protection, prophetic vision. You are about to gain a profound spiritual insight in the form of a prophetic vision, which appears to you in your dreams or at a time in which you least expect it. Through this, you realize that at the heart of all matter, only love exists, and that our perceptions of good and evil are simply a human illusion. A deep inner knowing will swell from within you, and you will realize that all is literally bathed in love. Nothing can ever harm you or have a negative effect on you apart from your own fears. Through this experience, you will have no doubt that a higher force does exist, and that through this higher force, all is possible. As you begin to trust in the universal power of love to guide you, your life will take on a greater meaning and purpose. I forgot to introduce myself. For those who have never seen me before, I am Shoshana. I do not use tarot. I do not channel. I do not search for downloads. I am a scanner and diagnoser. So, because I use cards, I always want to specify that. I only use medicine cards and positive approved cards. We have what you see in your reflection, confronting your true reflection. We have the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So right now, you feel like this card without this in the middle. So if you were to just cover that up, this is how you feel right now. That's how you feel right now. Dark, cold, hopeless. But there's only one little adjustment that you need to make. One little solution, one little miracle, one little resolution, one little shift, one little adjustment, one little ticket. And you are in a completely different reality, completely different lifestyle, completely different environment. Everyone needs a different environment at a different time in their life. Sometimes people need the desert. Sometimes people need the rain. Sometimes people need the snow. Sometimes people need the ocean. Sometimes people need to live where there's hurricanes. There are people in your life that are not to be trusted. Everything around you is crumbling, or so it feels like. There are people that want to bite you. There are snakes that want to bite you. And you feel like you're constantly targeted. You feel like you're constantly being attacked. You constantly have to run and escape. Yes, you do. You do have to constantly run and escape. You have to run and escape and get out of where you find yourself. Where you find yourself right now wants to swallow you up, whole into a bottomless pit. And the more that you seek a solution, the more that you come close to finding a resolution, the more the snakes bite. We have you needing to broadcast yourself, or you needing to broadcast the situation. Be discreet. There's ways to get certain information across while being discreet. There's something that's happening to you that needs to be broadcasted. Perhaps by you broadcasting something or sharing something that's happening to you, you are saving someone else. You needing to nurture yourself with the color orange, using the color orange to brighten up your life and burn through your attackers. I personally like to use different colors at different times depending on the situation. And when there's a lot of attackers, orange is a wonderful color because attackers don't really like orange. And I mean orange in the carnelian way. The orange carnelian is probably one of my top 5 favorite stones. If I had to choose my top 5, the orange carnelian is definitely one of them because it's like a slice of an orange. What happens if you squeeze an orange into someone's face? That's negative, you know? It just burns through, it'll burn their eyes. And I feel like there's this energetic citrus that happens with when you use orange to clear negative people, negative attackers, negative energies don't like that citrusy orange flame at all. So you could also use orange oil, the heated oil. You can use natural orange oils, and that also smudges your house. Sometimes, incense can be pretty expensive if you ask me. A lot of these incenses cost me, sometimes I can't afford them, or sometimes I'm unable to get to them because they're in a different town, so I end up having to order them online. So sometimes we don't have our lighter, sometimes we don't have the incense. So you can use the oil to smudge your house. Oil works amazing. If you do not have smudge, use oils to smudge your house. One of my favorites to use for protection for somebody here is rosemary. It doesn't really smell appealing at first, but when you can mix it. You can mix rosemary with lavender. And rosemary is one of my favorite to use to protect your household from negative energies, negative people, things like that. We have You Know What to Do. You have the answers. Don't be influenced by conflicting advice from multiple people. Don't rely on others to resolve your problems. If your answers do not appear overnight, don't be concerned. You will conquer these obstacles. It's a matter of time. Because I know what you want. That's what you want. You want to go in there. Be careful. Be careful with where you go. I want to I just want to say that. Be careful with where you go. Some of you it's not a move. Sometimes some of you is just a vacation. Make sure that the vacation location is worth it because sometimes or often there's this propaganda behind certain cities, certain states, certain islands that are overrated and they show only the good aspects of certain places, and you have to do your own research on what the negative aspects are because sometimes certain cities have negative aspects that override or cancel out the positives in certain areas, you know. So make sure that where you're going, you do research on what the current conditions are. We have the bathroom card, flushing away, flushing away. What do you need to flush? What do you need to flush down the toilet? Is it a person? Is it an addiction? Is it a negative thought? Is it a self-destructive habit? There's something very matter of fact about this pile. You're a very matter of fact kind of person. We have the Passion of the Wild Red Mother. Wow. This card blows me away every time it comes forward. Do you see the orange here? Do you see the orange in your pile? This is the orange that you're going to need to get rid of. This darkness. Look at this darkness. You use that orange to burn through. A little bit of red, a little bit of pink from your balanced root area, your root soul house. I like to call it soul house as opposed to chakra, because chakra is more of a target of someone trying to take something away from you. But I like to call it a soul house with no chakra, because if there's no chakra, then there's nothing that nobody can take from you. It's just yours. It's your soul house. Okay, where were we? We were here with this passionate card here. So you are ready to explode when it comes to something. There's a certain passion that you feel that you just can't take it anymore. This could either be passion. If it's not passion, it's anger, where you cannot take it anymore. If you have to do the same routine one more time, you're gonna lose all of your marbles. If it has to do with a long distance relationship, you can't take it anymore. You need to be with your person. There's a problem that is in your face that you need to stop looking at. When you stop looking at the problem, a resolution appears. So, like, let's say you're looking for a job. If you're constantly looking for a job, it's just not going to come. That's just the way life is. That's just the way life is. And as soon as you get distracted and someone invites you to the movies and you're like, you know what? I haven't seen a movie in a really long time. I'm going to come. You go to the movies, you come home, you're checking your email, bam! Somebody wants to interview you. All because you stepped away. You stepped away and allowed yourself to distract yourself. I love distractions. It's so easy for me to get distracted. I love distractions because when you get distracted, whatever you were focusing on is going to work itself out while you're being distracted. It's good to be distracted. It really is. It's not good to obsess over an issue, because if you obsess over an issue and do nothing about it, nothing's going to happen. Or if you do too much about it, nothing's going to happen. But if you just allow a distraction to come in, step away, take a couple hour drives away, go somewhere further than you usually go. If you usually just go within a 10-minute vicinity, go further, go for a 2-4 hour drive, where you just take off to some faraway city that you've never been to. And then you come back home and it comes. The solution comes. Okay, we have message in a bottle. Somebody wants to communicate something with you, and you've been really stressed out, perhaps, because you don't have this message that you need. We have never-ending story. I feel like this is connected with your current turmoil. You're so fed up with your current situation. You need a vacation, or you need a new life. You thrive on peace. Peace is ultimately all you want, and you just feel like that's not what you're getting right now. So that is all of your messages. And I'm going to do one last one, which is this little mini. And this little mini is turquoise. The turquoise card. Bringing turquoise into your life listening to yourself over others. You care too much what people think. Every time you have an idea, people dismiss it. It's important for this pile to wear turquoise, to be turquoise, to embody turquoise, to think like turquoise, to talk to turquoise. Turquoise is going to get you where you want to go, which is in here. Turquoise is what you need to connect with for this group. It seems like there's nobody that has your back right now. It feels like no one has your back right now. And unfortunately and sadly, when we feel that no one has our back, it usually means that no one does. And you're going to have to do this by yourself. Okay? You're going to have to do this important mission that needs to be completed by yourself in order to get the peace. And for some of you, in order to be with the person that you want that is perhaps at a long distance. And don't forget that your story can save others. Okay? So those are the messages that I have for this group. I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through. But remember this here. Remember this here. And this goes along with turquoise. There's an inner strength that you're going to have to rely on. You're going to have to rely on your inner strength because unfortunately, I just don't see anybody being helpful or supportive. And for this pile, and when you feel that way, it means you're meant to take it on your own. And that's okay. It's okay to embark on something on your own. Thank you so much for watching. Hello, pile 2. We are back to do your pile. And this one that you chose, if you are, I might have to back up this. Sorry. Here we go. If you chose this one is blue selenite, and it's a very high vibrational stone. Okay, so this is your pile. If you chose pile 2, the frankincense. Okay, what are the messages that we have for pile frankincense? Where should we begin? Oh, let's start from the bottom up. Okay, so I'm just going to blurt out what I feel for this pile. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What I feel for this pile is that you have been deprived or depraved for, or depraving yourself, choosing to be celibacy for a long time, and now is the time for you to not be that anymore. This is something that you might have been on and off in your life. A couple years of this, and then you date, and then a couple years of this, and then you date. But for a lot of people in this pile, it's time for you to no longer deprave yourself. This doesn't necessarily have to be physical. If you're married and happy, this could be cutting yourself short in some manner where, let's say, you share too much of yourself and you don't give enough to yourself. When are you going to treat yourself? However, for the majority, I just get this sense of you being interested in somebody and not letting them know. And then you're the one suffering because they don't know. But they can satisfy whatever it is that you feel you don't have, which could just be affection, emotional support, a passionate, intimate relationship, communicating, okay? We have the clear quartz. This pile is a powerful pile. You could be healers, exorcists, therapists, holistic psychiatrists, quantum healers. So if you are so powerful as this stone, because I feel that this pile represents this stone, you have a lot of fire in your energy. A lot of you, my honest opinion, I feel that, well, I guess it doesn't really matter what element. My point is, if you are a healer and a fire sign, it just becomes more powerful. You know, a fire sign healer is so much more powerful than someone who's not familiar with transmuting aggression. You can transmute aggression. You can transmute anger. You can transmute violence into a healing energy. Oh my goodness. One of these days, I'm gonna have a soundproof room. You know, like people who are in the music industry, that must be so nice to just go into a little studio and just, but no. Because whenever I hear a noise that's just a car door closing or someone dumping a bunch of cans in a bin, I lose my train of thought. And I'm like, oh, what was I scanning? What was I scanning? I want to say, if you are so powerful in regards to something, why aren't you using it? It reminds me of Aladdin that has the wishes. It's like this pile is holding some wishes and you're not making the wishes. Or you're holding a dandelion and you're not making a wish, you're not blowing it. You have this beautiful power about you, but you underestimate it. And the reason why you estimate it is because other people are idiots that don't understand. So, because they don't understand your power, they ridicule you and belittle you. And then that energy comes back as you feeling unworthy. And it's like, wow, do you not realize that anytime that you feel unworthy is because someone else feels unworthy next to you and they pass that energy to you, there's nothing unworthy about you. There's nothing worthless about you. Nothing. This pile needs to stay the hell away from materialistic, superficial people. Superficial, materialistic people will destroy this pile, and you need to stay the hell away. This is the pile that needs to have their wife sign a what do they call it? Oh my gosh, I can't say the freaking word. A prenuptial agreement. I'm sorry, I can't say that word. That's just the vibe that I get. You know, if you are rich, don't let people know that you are rich. Like the person that you want to date or the person that you're interested in, don't let them see what you got. Let them think that you're in scraps. You know, who comes along to be your friend? Who comes and gives you some love while you're in scraps? That is what you call a genuine friend. But nowadays, in the modern times, this modern generation doesn't think like that. This modern generation wants to be friends with people who have something. That's not real friendship. And the person that you're interested is not interested in any of your material wealth. They're interested in you, your skin. Okay. So then we have you in your power. What are you going to amplify? What are you going to progress? What are you going to get the ball rolling on? Any negative thought that you have of yourself came from somebody else. Okay. It looks like a ribbon. And you have to take like this sword that just kind of cuts through this ribbon into pieces and shreds that tries to penetrate you. Like, no, that negative thought does not belong to me. This pile is too serious. Have fun. Don't be so serious. You just sit there and you're so serious. And then what is amplified back to you is your seriousness. So then you have like this permanent frown, because once again, it's other people's misery. Like anywhere you go to work, you go to the store, you go where there's a lot of people just throw this like disapproving evil eye at you. And they don't realize that it just goes to hurt them because you're a crystal. It's like you're a living crystal. You are only going to amplify people's energy back at them. This pile is probably a very empathic pile. And it's like, okay, you're going to throw some hate. Well, guess what? This pile is a clear quartz pile. So it's just going to go shabam. And it's going to hurt the person that had a negative thought towards you. But for some reason, people don't get that. People don't get that. So by them hating you, they're blessing you and hurting themselves. That's just the way energy works, okay? So that's going to happen while you're just minding your own business. So you need to have fun and celebrate and don't be so serious, Don't be so serious. Any residual negative thoughts, any residual self-destructive thinking is not yours. It's baloney. When you are by yourself, when you are by yourself, there's this power, right? There's this power, but what happens? You lose your motivation. You get lonely because you isolate yourself. You isolate yourself to protect yourself from people because you know that people just want to cause vertigo. A lot of people in this pile have vertigo or have vertigo right now in lifetime. That is all residual energy from other people. I'm telling you, I don't know what's happened to this world, but there's a lot of miserable haters out there. That just have nothing better to do than to target good people. I've worked at so many different places and I see the same dynamic everywhere I go. Within all, I've worked at a lot of different places and it's always the same dynamic. It's the nice ones, the sensitive ones, the considerate ones, the bubbly ones that are targeted because the others are outshined. The others are shown that they have no shine next to people who really do have shine. This pile, your shine obscures everybody else into self-reflection. When this pile, like your energy is so clean, I want to say, that when you walk anywhere into a room, you make people feel uncomfortable. You make people notice their imperfections, their dirtiness, by seeing how clean you are. This may not even be physical. This might just be happening like energetically. But it's what I get for this pile. And let's continue on to the garden. There's this beautiful garden. And I feel like this garden is a representation of your soul and your spirit, your interior, what you hide. You are hiding the real you from perhaps your own friends. For some of you, you might be hiding your true face from some of your friends. For some of you, you're hiding your true face or your true personality or your true desires. You're hiding that from your person. And it makes your person so sad. It makes your person so sad that you have the audacity to be reunited through the process of reincarnation only to hide from them or to hide your true essence from them. It really, really hurts them. For some of you, you have a friend that you think is a friend that has given you bad advice because they don't want to see you happy. Because they know that if you're happy with your person, you're probably never going to call them again. For another group of you, I feel like you have a jealous friend that doesn't want you to be happy with your person because they are attracted to you and want to convince you to be in a same gender relationship with them. Awakening your empathy. So for a group of you, you're not being considerate of how your actions or lack of actions affect somebody else. It's important to not be selfish with our empathic abilities Just because we're empathic doesn't mean that we have to be self-serving and self-gratifying. You know what I mean? We have to represent the walk and the talk as empathic people and be considerate of our ripple effect upon others in public or in a romantic setting. Protecting yourself. Protecting yourself, because there are many wolves. There are many wolves that are setting traps for this pile. Why? Because you're aligned. It's when you are aligned that you have to be scared about, not scared, that's not the word, that you have to be on guard and shielded extra is when you're aligned, because there's always going to be a trap that wants to misalign you. You, this pile, are aligned with the will of the heavens, the way of the earth, and the harmony of thy people. Ride the tailwinds and welcome the generosity and abundance around you. Whatever you are doing, I want to say, is so very advantageous. This is a number 5, and we have a little rat. And this is a good rat. This is not a bad rat. This is a good little rat that is representing your wealth. When we are wealthy, there's things that want a crumb. So this positive rat is representing that you're going to have what you need. You're going to have what you need. In this deck, the rat represents wealth, security, integrity. We have given yourself permission to play. When was the last time that you did something that you used to do as a child or a teenager or just a younger version of yourself? Whether it's coloring a book, drawing a picture, painting, anything that made you happy when you were younger. When was the last time that you gave yourself permission to clock out of this matrix and just go into your own world? Needing to heal yourself. So because you are so high vibrational, I want to say, there's a need for the maintenance to be that much more. The consistency, the persistence of the maintenance has to be more for you to maintain the weight of your power, if that makes sense. The more that you upgrade yourself, the more you have to, there's more responsibilities, there's more to maintain, there's more commitment even to that healing. Which way was it? This way? We have the human gift. What is your human gift? This pile obviously has a human gift. What is your human gift? Do you already know what that is? It's there. It's there. Your human gift. Commitment, exactly. I feel like this commitment has to be to yourself in some aspect, but at the same time, this pile has a bad habit of taking that too far. You take it too far to the point where you deprive yourself. Don't commit to yourself so much that you deprive yourself of opening your heart, opening your door, opening your arms to miracles, opportunities, an establishment between you and your person. We have you needing to move on already. You have written a book. You finished the book. You finished the phase. You finished the cycle. You finished what you needed to learn. And you keep opening it and going back to the beginning. You're done with that book. It's time for you to write a brand new book. And that book involves you not being in isolation and you being in a power couple. Can you imagine what you can amplify in a power couple, especially a divine counterpart power couple? You needing to be proud of yourself, patting yourself on your back, all of those buffaloes that you can barely see because there's so many of them from a distance, represents your accomplishments, and you need to look at them. Look at your accomplishments and how far you've gone and how ridiculous your negative thoughts are. And look what we have here. This is what you will get. This is what you will get if you just get over this ridiculous self-destructive habit, self-destructive behavior, self-destructive thought patterns. We cut it. We cut it. We cut it. We cut it. You have so many piles like Tetris. Just break it all. Just break it and shatter it all. And then we have Star Woman. What does the Star Woman represent? Let's see. Let's see. Is it in my reach? Oh my goodness. I'm always losing my book. I'm always losing my book. Okay, let's see. This represents purpose. This represents your purpose on why you are here. This is your purpose. You are delaying your purpose. I feel like this is how you feel. How this card looks is how you feel. Wouldn't you much rather be in this position? Those are all the messages that I have for you. I hope that you found something helpful. Don't forget that this is what you are representing right now. Oh, okay. And up to the next pile. Next pile. Hello, pile 3. This is your pile here if you chose Myrrh. Myrrh, myrrh, myrrh. Okay, let's get started. So you chose the beautiful Myrrh. I get anxiety, I tell you, when I don't have Myrrh in my house. I get very grumpy. Frankincense and Myrrh are musts, must-haves. The number 1 is cedar. I'm a Arapaho, so we gotta have our cedar. We use flat cedar for birthdays and round cedars to exorcise houses. That's a little secret that I am sharing with this pile because you chose Myrrh. You deserve to know that information. Okay, so let's begin. What in your life do you have to appreciate? The first card for this pile is appreciation. Appreciation. There's something in your life that you need to appreciate more, or there's something that's going to be coming into your life that you're going to have a reason to appreciate. Then we have as your right, that is coming to tell you, hey, what happened to your self-confidence? Your self-confidence has wavered. You need to upgrade your confidence. Go back to being your funny self. There's nothing wrong with having a sense of humor during these times. This is the timeless reading. There's always going to be something good happening in the world. There's always going to be something bad happening in the world. Why should circumstance be an excuse to not be our genuine, funny selves? I feel that this pile has a great sense of humor. You like to be wacky. You like to be spunky. And lately, you are sad and you feel like you shouldn't be funny or humorous or even sarcastic funny because of the times we're in. And I think that's ridiculous. I think that it's even more of a reason to be funny. It's a good time to laugh. We have being careful with what you bring into your house. Being careful with what you bring into your home. Being careful with what you bring into your bed. What do you bring to your plate? What do you bring to your kitchen table? Everything has energy, and sometimes certain things have a negative energy in them, such as a bottle of wine. Yes. One single bottle of wine can curse an entire house. How do you feel when you go into someone's house, let's say a castle for fun? Let's say you have to work at a castle for a couple of days and they ask you to go to the wine room or the alcohol room, and you go in there and there's all these wine bottles that are years and years old and liquor bottles and collections. You mean to tell me that when you go in there, you feel positive? Who in the right mind can go into a room that has a collection of liquor, old liquor from different years, whiskey and wine from ages ago, and tell me that you feel positive when you go into those rooms? Even talking about it is giving me a headache. Everything has energy. There is cursed food, there is blessed food. That's the whole point in praying for our food. In Taoism, we pray for our food. If there's anything cursed, by praying or chanting for the food, blessing the food, clearing the energy of the food before you eat it, it doesn't harm you, even if there was something negative. Digestion is an epidemic right now. There's an epidemic of parasites and digestive issues and colon cancer that nobody wants to talk about. It takes a couple minutes. Before you eat, there's a chant that you can do. Jin Dan Jin Gu. Jin Dan Jin Gu. Jin Dan Jin Gu. You are communicating with your digestive organs and you're letting them know that you're about to intake some food. And then you can do your own intention of clearing anything negative that might be on the food and protecting you from it. Thank you, Source, for this food. We are not without. And after you eat, you say, Jin Dan Hua Gu. Jin Dan Hua Gu. Jin Dan Hua Gu. And that means you're communicating to your organs, letting them know that it is time to digest your food. There are a lot of things that you can do for parasite issues, but the best and easiest is fasting. The combination of praying and fasting is imperative. While you pray, whatever negativity was in there and you're fasting, it has nothing to sustain itself. Let's talk about Satan. Who do I think Satan is? I think Satan is a worm. 3 worms, in fact. 3 worms. But if somebody is living a moral life, you cross all your T's, you're humble, you mind your business, you work, you pay all your bills, you make an honest living, you treat others how you want to be treated. How on earth is the enemy going to harm you? How are these demons going to be able to harm you if you're crossing all your T's? Through food, through your digestive system. And that's why it is important to fast. You can do 16-hour fasting where whatever you ate or the last thing that you eat for dinner, you don't eat nothing. Oh, my ring is falling off. You don't eat nothing for 16 hours. So let's say you have dinner at 8 o'clock and you have something sweet after. So let's say 8:30. You don't eat for 16 hours from that last time that you ate. And that is a good way of fasting. Reasonable time, because 3 days is difficult. There's so many different kinds of fastings. There's doing no meat. Don't do any meat for a long time. And a lot of times when that happens, you don't even want to go back to meat because you feel so good after not having it that you don't even want to go back to it. No pork. You can do, if fasting is too difficult, just completely take pork and sodas out of your diet. No pork, no sodas. You want that club soda? Have a Pellegrino, put some lemon in it. Make your own sodas. You can buy a soda stream where you can make your own soda and you control how much sugar or no sugar you put in there. I make my own ginger ales with club soda. I cook the ginger and add like pineapple juice and then the club soda and make my own ginger ale. So those things are very important. Oops, I flipped that over and I'm not ready for it. Well, maybe it wants to be flipped over. Maybe it wants us to talk about it. We have the spirit of divine love. The spirit of divine love. Okay, so if you're in the spirit of divine love and you're getting some good news and all you have to do is work on your confidence, the enemy's not going to be able to attack you. So it's going to want to do it through your digestive tract, through stress, through your visceral fat, inflammation, abdominal pain, IBS. That is all the enemy. Those are all demonic influences. And I noticed that when I got home from work. I was in the past, because these are issues that are they're issues that are ongoing. You know what I mean? It all depends on the circumstances, but on a collective level, there's definitely an epidemic of digestive issues and parasites. So, I was feeling great when I was at work. I was feeling great walking around, exercising, and then I get home, and as soon as I get home, I feel like a knot. I want to say like a knot, the kind of knot, like a stomach knot that just makes you feel uncomfortable. And then I realize it's not natural. There's things that are natural and there's things that are not natural. And I realize that it had to do with an environmental issue. Okay. So sometimes you will have things that don't have a logical explanation, and that does not mean that it doesn't need to be clear. Just because it doesn't have a logical explanation, it should be cleared even more so. Truth be told. Okay, so someone is hiding the truth from you. Somebody is wearing a mask. This is probably your person. So, through all this that you're going through, there's someone in the background that's been watching you, and they adore you and they want to be with you, and they have a really hard time thinking about anything else. They are just thinking about you all the time, and not in a bad way, not in a creepy way, just in an overprotective way, like, oh my god, I don't want nobody else to have my person. I would be so heartbroken if my person ended up with somebody else. That's how this person feels. Okay. Where were we? And then we have seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. We have the grandmother card. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because this is more of a grandmother's presence that wants to let you know that you need to be laying foundations according to a divine plan. And I don't want to talk too much about it because this could mean so many things to many people. Whether your grandmother's still alive, if your grandmother passed away, if you have a spiritual grandmother, you know what I mean? So whenever I see this card, I don't like to talk too much about it, because I have my own significance of what it means to me, and what it means to me does not mean the same to what it means to somebody else. Ultimately, it has to do with your cosmic grandmother. So just because you had shitty parents, for example, this is not going to apply to everybody, but let's say you had really shitty parents, that doesn't mean that it's the end all. No. You have had so many different mothers and so many different fathers in past lifetimes. So in reality, there's this cosmic infinite number of mothers that you've had, infinite fathers that you've had, infinite grandmothers that you've had. So you're never alone as you might feel. There's no such thing. And whenever you do feel that way, it is a lie. Your guidance is divinely guided. There's no need for you to feel a sense of fear. You feel like you're going down the sink to your doom, and you're not. You're not. It just feels that way because there's this supernatural force that no longer wants you to be in a situation that has expired. We have the mice. I feel like this is going on in your head. In your head, you have these screeching grocery cart wheels. You've been up all night about this idea, this mission, ambition, goal, dream, hope. And it's not going to go away until you fulfill it. Using the color cyan, somebody in here might be 35 years old. Build your confidence. Do you see this? Do you see this? This says build your confidence. This is the exact same card from a different deck. What happened? What happened to your confidence? You know, it's really strange because the reason why you lost your confidence was because you made the mistake of comparing yourself to people. And what makes you this pile special is that your ability is unique and different, and it stands out. So your insecurity is coming from you literally standing out. And as long as you see that, you will never do it again. And you just have to tell yourself, oh, wait, my abilities do stand out. Let's say you're in your art class and you're all required to make a painting about the cemetery. And then everybody is turning in the predictable gray, the predictable grayish mental asylum, mental institution, psychiatric ward gray. Right? So everybody comes in and turns in their homework at the art class and they're like, here's my painting. Here's my painting. And everybody's turning in this gray colored painting of tombstones and what their significance and their perspective is on cemeteries. And then it's your turn and you get to turn in your piece. And your piece is orange. It's orange. You have a painting, and the grass is green, and the sky is purple, and the tombstones are orange. The tombstones are orange. And your teacher is looking at you like, please explain. And you start talking about how cemeteries to you represent life, because wherever people are going to go after they die is not gray at all. And everybody in the class just stares at you. That's what I get from this pile. So your silly, silly insecurities about standing out are actually what your talent and your unique ability is about. It's about standing out and not being a follower, but making your own trail or your own path or your own idea and putting that onto paper or into canvas. So there's no need to be without that confidence. It is that difference in you that's the point. And that's why social media is so bad and toxic and dangerous to the future generations, because they are about uniform. They're about uniform. And this pile breaks that. Okay, so let's continue. We have change, leap forward, and dare to make that change. There will be sacrifices and roadblocks, but you are protected. It is an imminent move. What is stale and depressed will be revitalized with this new energy. And what do we have over here in the corner? We have two little birdies. So a lot of you might be in a long distance situation. And oh boy, does that person watch you. Look at those eyes. Do you see those little eyes? Those little eyes are your person's little eyes. They are so worried that somebody is just gonna come and swoop you off your feet and they're never gonna see you again. That is their biggest fear. Okay, the next one, which way? What happened to that one? Okay, it's because I went backwards. Remember where you're from and who you really are. So reconnecting with the authentic version of you, the genuine version of you, the Sunday morning version of you. Reconnecting with that and throwing away this facade that you think people want you to fill. You don't want to put on an artificial skin like that, because when you put on an artificial skin like that, it's like you are I want to say forfeiting your true essence. We have the dissolving light, and we have the tree of life. This we already discussed. Your insecurities are coming from you comparing yourself to people. But if all people looked exactly the same, how would we tell them apart? If our voices all sounded the same, how would you tell us apart? If we wore all the same clothes and had the same amount of melanin in our skin, how would you tell us apart? The most beautiful pot is the one that holds a little ethnicity from all over the world in a little pot. And that's why the old San Francisco used to be so beautiful. The old San Francisco of the 80s and 90s was so beautiful because it was exactly that. It was a little pot that had all kinds of ethnicities. We had Chinatown, we had Japantown, we had a little town for every country. Maybe somebody here is from San Francisco. I wanted to reminisce about that. But we have the dissolving light here. Allow the light to dissolve all of the BS that you've allowed in your life. That's about all of the messages that I have for this pile. Thank you. Hello, hello. This is your pile. If you chose the pile for Kasturi, this is the stone that is protection against other people's negative thoughts. I believe it's called the Evil Eye Stone, but it's black and it's so beautiful. And you chose the Kasturi. If you've never gotten this incense, like I was saying before, it protects against radiation. It's actually extremely important during these times because we are being radiated while we sleep. Make sure that whenever you buy incense that does not have heavy chemicals. This smells like musky soap and rose petals. It reminds me of taking a bath, a spiritual bath. Those are what the smells remind me of. And let's begin your reading. Let's start from here. Okay, so right away from this pile, we have somebody that is thinking about you. They're trying to figure you out, how you function, how you work, how you are, who you're interested in. If you feel the same way about them, what number would they be? Would they be your number one? Would they be your plan B? Would they be a rebound? You have someone that is thinking about this pile. Be careful with lust. Be careful with false glam. This pile has a tendency to fall for toxicity that you don't realize is toxicity because you go for the glam and glitz. And it's very important for you to be careful with that. Don't be easily fooled by glam and glitz, because sometimes when you open the lid, inside the lid is a curse or a toxic person or a lustful dynamic that's never going to get anywhere. Okay, for another group of you, you have found your person. You have found your person and you are interacting with them. What is your soul calling you to do? Your soul is calling you to do something. The whole purpose of why you reincarnated into this life. Is this person going to complement that, because a lot of times when people get into a relationship, they don't think about their purpose. They forget their purpose. They forget their mission. They forget the whole reason why they reincarnated, and they forget to consider whether the person that they are considering is going to complement that or destroy that. How many times have we not witnessed somebody trying to break up with somebody and the other person cannot handle the breakup, so they take the other person's life? You have to be so careful with who you date and who you allow around your children. There's a group of you in here that might have a sexual addiction that they need to look into, where you pacify your trauma with dangerous situations, I want to say. That's only going to be for some of you. We have the Ship. What in your life is a huge red flag that you need to leave? Is it a location? Is it a city? Is it a person? Is it a job? Is it a drug? Is it alcohol? There's something that you need to cut out of your life and separate from, sever, leave. We have one of my favorite cards for this particular colors deck. You needing to incorporate more coral in your life. Coral, all flow and synchronicity into your life. Allow the positive opportunities to come in. You're going to have a divine intervention that's going to find its way to you. And you're going to know that it's a positive opportunity. You're just going to know by how it feels. There's going to be this feeling of knowing that this opportunity is the one that is going to get you out of a certain situation. But it's going to take a sacrifice. There is someone or something or some situation that you're going to have to sacrifice in order to get into this space. This is, I want to say, your salvation. Some of you are in a toxic relationship, and out of nowhere, somebody calls you from a different state and tells you they need a house sitter for a long time because their grandma in a different country is ill and you don't know how long you're going to have to be there. And that grandma is going to take care of the expenses, so the time doesn't matter. So all of a sudden, you have this golden opportunity to take your bags and leave. I can't help but feel that there's a group of you in here that need to leave a person that is dangerous or toxic or an addict that you have to exorcise out of your life. When the opportunity arises for you to make your escape, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Please don't tell anyone. You know how many scary movies I've seen? How many scary crime shows? How many scary documentaries I've seen of the person making it so obvious that they're leaving? Like, one of them, I think, started taking their things little by little. Another one announced that she was leaving. Another one got into a physical altercation. Come on, use your acting skills. You know, if you're trying to make an escape or you're in a dangerous situation, in a domestic violence situation, you gotta be slick and use your acting skills like nothing is wrong. And once you get that opportunity, you grab all your things and you dart out of there. Okay, that's just gonna be for some of you. My apologies to the people in this pile that does not resonate to. Embrace partnership. A harmonious relationship creates joy. It is bond free from attachments to power, money, or status. Accept your friends and partners as they are. Release all judgment. For another group of you that is happy with your person, stop judging them. When you choose to be with someone and you choose to commit to that person, for others of you, it's the ex that just has to be cut out, or a divorce that has to be finalized and you needing to escape with the new person. There's a lot going on for this group. Releasing all judgment. So for those of you who have found your person and you know who that person is and you choose to commit to them, stop judging them and just allow them to be. If they're the perfect person that you said that they were perfect, then let them be that perfect person. But stop judging them all the time. Stop judging them all the time, because what you judge in them is actually a reflection of you. So if you're always pointing the finger and saying, oh, well, you're always doing this, you're always doing that, well, that's probably something that you're doing. You need to take responsibility for pointing the finger about something that you do yourself. Taking a big bite out of life. What does that mean to you, to take a big bite out of life? You have a big appetite. This pile has one heck of an appetite. If you're not satisfied with the little things in life, then take a bigger bite. If you dare. The impossible made possible. All you have to do is shift your way of thinking and take full control. Can you imagine all of the things in life that are artificial, genetically modified, and blah, 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 artificial? If everything in life, if the sun and the moon is false and the truth is number 3, and everything is fake, then can you imagine what that means about you? What does that mean about humanity? If everything around humanity, if we're in this fake false container, this little snow globe, this little plasma container, why are they trying to contain us? We must obviously hold some kind of relentless power if they're constantly trying to destabilize us, constantly trying to weaken us, paralyze us. Well, it's not going to happen, because we're going to avoid and terminate those enemies. Our enemies are void and terminated. Allow humanity to have full control. Humanity was framed. And we were faced with these consequences that we did not create. So during this Aquarius age, I want to say, humanity gets to take control. Or should. It is our right, it is our authority to have dominion over this earth ship and to take care of it. And that includes not settling for less. The impossible made possible. The enemy created these tools to harm us. But those tools are going to backfire. Those tools are going to backfire and be used against them to ultimately protect us, because that is the Constitution. The Constitution is for humanity to be protected. And for humanity to have authority, not to be overtaken by other entities. So it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy because there's so many other things, let's just call them things, that want to take over. They want to hold the remote control. All this has to do with the remote control. It's all about holding that remote control, right? But when we keep that in mind as a whole, as a human species, we have to be reminded of our own remote control, our own, and staying as high vibrational as possible, and staying as authentic as possible, and in our power as much as possible. Because when we are in those positions, it's very difficult for nasty grime level vibrational agendas to penetrate. Some of you might be having an identity crisis, and that is meant to be. It's meant to get you out of a box and get you into surpassing pigeonhole way of thinking. When we have an identity crisis, it means that we're going through a metamorphosis. I love having an identity crisis. That means I get to go in my closet and throw everything away and buy a brand new wardrobe that represents who I have become, who I have progressed into. We have grandmother here. The presence of your grandmother, whether that is your cosmic grandmother, physical, on the other side. What did your grandma say that you might have forgot? That's a personal message. And then we have allow the wind to blow you to your next destination. Don't hold on like a cat when you're trying to give a cat a shower or a bath or whatever. Whenever you feel pushed by a supernatural force to go to the other side, from the north to the east, from the south to the west, from the west to the south, do it. We are meant to migrate. We are meant to migrate freely. That is what we are meant. We are meant to migrate freely. Being flexible, in what area in your life are you not being flexible enough? You need to compromise a little more. You can't always have your way. And then we have going the distance and completing your mission or goal for this lifetime. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found some positive, helpful messages. Till next time, bye.